still! There! And again! Yes! Ha-ha! That's it! Okay, Aloy, now what? Aha! New plan. I'll shut you down.
Lands on the top rope. Oh no! Climbs on the top rope. Oh no! Congratulations! Now go for the next match.
Guard said you've been scurrying around the wall like a rat. What in the name of the ten have you been up to? Did you hit your head on the way down here?
Just penetrate the first layer of rock and metal.
Even if what you're saying is true, it would take a cannon to do that.
You're right. Come on.
No. I'm not getting dragged further into this madness.
grapple in for a big hit. Dogma's building to something. My turn. She can't move. I could grapple in for a big hit. Stop dragging!